Morning, welcome back to another vid. I thought I'd do a pick-up vid because it's been a while. I say a while, probably about a month, which is, a fair amount of time. So, yeah, got a few games. Got a system. You can probably see the system already. Let's get that out of the way with. Straight away, right at the top there. It's the Atari STE Discovery Extra with an X, because it's the early 90s, not an EXTRA, obviously. But yeah, the Discovery Extra Atari STE, which stood for Enhanced, which is the one I had as a kid back in 1991. And to get it back again all these years later, kind of a bright pink box, which is, again, so early 90s, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm just really pleased to get it. Now, the way that come about, I should say I probably had several chances in the past to buy one back in the past, but I just didn't, because maybe the condition wasn't right, maybe the price wasn't right. I think on another occasion the seller wasn't prepared to ship overseas, and so it was a case of, well, what can you do about it? I mean, I know some people obviously are very kind, and I don't like to take advantage, but on YouTube they're always kind, you know who you are, to say, well, just give me a shout. And, sometimes I have done, and maybe in the future I will, but I don't want to make a habit out of it, obviously. So I didn't get it, but on this occasion I did, and it came about because on Twitter, a YouTuber called King Arthur, and here's the funny thing with him. I think his name's Tom. I used to think his name was Art, and I'm blaming Pete SNES-tastic because it was his fault. Because I used to notice on his comments he used to say, "Thanks, Art," and so I thought, well, that was his name. But obviously it was just, Pete was just using, I guess, artistic license. See what I did there? That's quite a good one, that. On the fly as well, it's pretty good. So he was just using a bit of artistic license, but I presumed that his name was Art. So I spent, a few months calling him Art. Turns out his name's Tom. So it's just ridiculous, but quite funny. So anyway, Tom, on Twitter sent me a message, or tweeted me, and he said, "Aren't you looking for this? Or weren't you looking for it some time ago?" And it was a link to someone on the, is it Amiibo? Or Amiibo? Ami, I guess, 'cause it stands for Amiga. And it's a forum, essentially, a website where people who are obviously into the Amiga, even though it's Atari ST, they're selling all this kind of stuff, old 16-bit Atari ST, Amiga games and systems, and they talk about it and all that kind of stuff. It's just a forum. I guess just a bit like YouTube, but, text and stuff rather than videos. So I replied back to Tom. Sorry, I'll stop doing that now. Replied back to Tom, and I said, "Thanks very much, mate. That's really interesting. I'll check it out." So I went on this forum. Turns out you've got to register for it, but fair enough. So I did all that kind of stuff. And, oh no, tell a lie. I'd already registered, but years and years and years ago. I don't think I've got any posts on there. I don't know why I registered. Maybe just to read people's stuff about the Amiga and the ST. Anyway, so I didn't think I was registered, but it turns out I was. So I logged in after probably years of inactivity. And I sent the guy a message, and I just said, "Look, I'm interested." And he replied back, and he went, "Oh, that's fine." He says, "But if you're interested, what you've got to do is you've got to go on the actual forum, open up the page, and declare your interest." I remember him phrasing it that way, declare your interest. And I thought, I can't be bothered with this. And I nearly started to write back. Or in fact, I did start to write back. I didn't send the message, but I started to type back, "Is that necessary, mate? I'm telling you now, I'll pay for it." And then I didn't want to, argue with someone, because, you know what it's like on the internet, and I'm guilty. I've done that. I do this all the time with people. Listen, if you watch my videos, you'll know I'm very placid and relaxed and chilled out, because that's how I am in person. This isn't like a joke or an act. But sometimes when I'm typing, when anyone's typing, you can misinterpret it and you can get the wrong end of the stick. And I'm the master at people taking what I say the wrong way. And because I'm a little bit cheeky as well, but it's very rarely is it meant in any kind of aggressive manner. It's just a bit of jest. Whether they get it or not, that's usually the problem. They think I'm being serious. But anyway, so I started to type back. I guess you've had enough of seeing that now, right? Move it down a little bit. So I started to type it back in the message that I'm not going to do that. I just take my word for it. I'll pay for it. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to cause any unnecessary enemies. So I replied back and I went, "No problem, mate." I think I did still say something like, "I don't know why you want me to do that." And then I said kind of, ... But maybe it's forum etiquette. If it is, fair enough. So I went onto the forum and I put, I'm next in line because there was 2 other people. If no one wants it, give me a shout, kind of thing. So the other 2 people, for whatever mysterious reason, backed out from the sale, which was a little bit concerning because I thought, well, that's, strange. Why is that happening? But anyway, long story short, agreed a deal with the guy, including shipping, of course. and he sent it. So that's the one. That's the one. Actually, there it is up there. That's the one I had in 1991. It works out really well actually because Psycho Fox Dave, a good friend of mine on YouTube. I don't think he's made a video for a while, and I'm just looking at it up there. But Dave sent me the discs in this little pink box, which comes with that, and and that didn't have it, so that kind of goes in nicely, which is really convenient. And I tell you a couple of really, really, really weird things about this Atari ST, right? So I get it. I open it up and I'm excited. Oh, the front cover's fantastic. It takes me back to my youth and all that kind of thing. Inside the box, there isn't an instruction manual. And you probably think, well, so what? Big deal. I've got my instruction manual, the original one, from my 1991 STE Discovery Extra Pack back in the UK. Now, I'm not suggesting that is my original one, but it's just, what are the chances? It could be. And it doesn't have that pink box, and I didn't have my pink box. I sold it or lost it, or maybe I don't know where it is. But Dave got me that one, so it kind of goes with that, like I say. So again, that's kind of strange how it doesn't come with the pink box, or the inside box with the discs in. So that's kind of strange as well. Another strange thing, I was looking through a load of discs, because they gave me a load of blank discs with games on them. And I'm not even joking, this is probably me just making this up in my head, but I was looking at some of the writing on the discs, and I was like, that looks like my writing from when I was a kid. It's really spooky. Could you imagine? Could you just imagine one of my holy gaming grails, if that, again, try and point exactly to it, if that is my actual one from 1991? Unbelievable. Now, how am I ever going to prove it? Well, I never will. But it's just weird, isn't it? 3 things like that, really weird. And it's got me thinking that could well be my original one. It's probably not going to be. But anyway, I'm really liking it. Now, what you can't see, obviously, up there is on the front cover, there's a few kind of like little light ripples along the slip, if you like, the cardboard slip. Because once you take that off, it's just a standard Atari ST box. And yeah, it's not in ideal condition, but it's in good condition. Now, don't get me wrong. If one in better condition comes along in the future, I think I'll buy it. My ultimate holy grail is to get one kind of sealed or brand new and mint and all the rest of it, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge in the future. Remember, I got this in 1991, so it's taken me all these years to get one back. I've had Atari STs back before, of course, but just not this specific one, the 520 STE. But in saying that, this particular one, I'm pointing down there because that's where it is. It's set up next to the monitor there, which you can't see, but it's on this computer desk. I've been playing it. But yeah, the actual guy slightly modded it. He put basically 2 megs worth in. 2 meg, wow. But back in the day, that was like incredibly futuristic and high-tech, 2 meg. Especially when 520 is just half a meg. So I was used to that for years. So yeah, so I've got my STE, which could be my original one. Could be, probably isn't. But now it's got 2 meg, which I'm really pleased with. So that's that. So I have bought a few Atari ST games, of course. I usually do anyway. And I'll very briefly talk about this because, in all honesty, I've not yet put it on. But I know what it's like because I played it years ago. And the funny thing about this as well is that I bought this game, the console version, on the Mega Drive probably sometime last year. Maybe the year before. I think it was last year. But I much prefer this one. It's a better game. It's got better graphics. More importantly, of course, because it's a computer, you can use the mouse. And these kind of games, which are, God Sims, are very much really intended for a computer over a console. And that game is Megalomania. And look at the artwork, brilliant. Sensible Software down there, little logo. There it is. And then ImageWorks, another really nostalgic little logo going on there. I love the boxes. I really do. And I've got quite a few now. One of these days, I'm going to have to do an Atari ST stroke Amiga collection vid. But I know I said I was going to do that about my SNES at Christmas, and I just didn't get around to doing it. But I will, sometime this year, maybe next Christmas, or this one coming up. So yeah, Megalomania on the Atari ST, really good, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's that. Now, speaking of Super Nintendo, I've got 3 games here that I'm going to show you. Now, it's funny because I use Twitter, as I touched upon before, which is where Tom got in touch with me regarding the Atari STE. And sometimes what I'll do, quite regularly, is I'll take a picture of some games that I've either just bought or what I'm playing. And I can't remember, because I've only done like 1 or 2 pickup videos last 3 or 4 months or whatever it's been. I can't remember if everything I've showed on Twitter, I've showed on YouTube. So I just took 3, which I don't think I have had on a pickup video on YouTube. And then the others, I guess I'll go through and I'll put them on future pickup vids. But these 3, I'm pretty certain I haven't. And they're all PAL games, of course, for the SNES. And the first one is Earthworm Jim. And there you go, nice little artwork with Earthworm Jim himself. And Earthworm Jim, yeah, basically kind of a platformer, shoot 'em up as such. And this is in really good condition, actually. Very pleased with it. But it's funny, I'm not going to get involved in like a... bloody hell, that was loud. Did you hear that car go by there? Or a bike or whatever it was. Anyway, maybe you didn't hear it. But these are usually really quiet streets. That should be happening. I'm going to put in a complaint. Not really. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. So, yeah, I don't want to get involved in a... And who would I put a complaint to? Ridiculous. But I don't want to start a console, 16-bit console war, because I love the Mega Drive. I really do. In many ways, I kind of prefer it, in many ways, to the SNES. But I love them both quite equally, to be honest. And I've got them both. But I remember playing Earthworm Jim on the Mega Drive, probably... When would it be? Maybe about 10 years ago, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. And I didn't like it. I probably played it back in the day, as we say, but I can't remember whose console it was on. But I played it around about 10 years ago on the Mega Drive, maybe a bit less actually, and I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of clunky. I thought the controls just felt a little bit stiff. There's something about it, I didn't quite see what the fuss was about. However, when I played this version, the Super Nintendo version, everything seems a little bit better. Again, I don't want to start like some kind of war. Like, for example, but it's no bias towards the SNES, because if you remember, I've talked before about Aladdin. I think Aladdin I showed last month or the month before on the SNES, and I like it. It's a really good game, but the Mega Drive version's better. Most people agree. Not everyone, obviously. Everyone's always going to have different opinions. But most people, the general consensus is the Mega Drive version is superior, and I would agree. But it would be interesting to see what the consensus is on the Super Nintendo version of Earthworm Jim, because personally, I prefer this. I prefer the Super Nintendo version, but it might just be me. I'll tell you what, I'll stick it down here. And I'll also have a swig of tea. So, yeah, that's that. Now, 2 more SNES games. Let's show that one second, actually, because it's so bad, it's good. It's one of those. I'm going to talk briefly about this, because I've only played it for about 20 minutes. It's Mania. And again, this is why I love the PAL Super Nintendo. Look at the different coloured spines. This is what it's all about. And I'm going to have to apologise for the glare. I do it in every single vid, but whatever. You know, unless I move the camera around or change the room around, which I'm prone to doing every kind of few months anyway, then you're always kind of going to get that. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, Mania, so a platformer, Disney-based, of course. And yeah, pretty good, pretty solid, difficult, like a lot of platform gamers are. And I'm just looking at the back there, and you won't be able to see it, but I'm going to show you anyway, because it's the etiquette of what we kind of do on YouTube. Oh, you can see it a little bit, I guess. But that third photo down, or the screenshot down, you can see it's black and white, pretty much. I think there's a little bit which isn't there. But I like that. Some of the game is, I think it's just at the start, to be fair, or at least so far. Maybe there's more of it further on in the game. But early on in the game, kind of black and white, other than Mickey, who's in colour. And as the level kind of progresses, things become more colourful. It just looks really good. Graphically, it looks really nice. You know, I think the thing about the Super Nintendo is obviously most of the games are 2D based. And 2D doesn't really age. It still looks really, really nice. Whereas things like the PlayStation 1, the Sega Saturn, the N64, has that 3D polygon look. And for the most part, they look very, very bad. You know, even though I've got nostalgia for them, of course. And I've got a PS1 game as well, which I'll show you in a bit. But the last Super Nintendo game, I mean, this is rubbish. It's not a very good game, but there's something about it which I like, and I don't know whether it's because I remember the movie, and so it takes me back, because I remember when it came out, and I remember a friend of mine, I can vividly remember him knocking on my door, Mark, and giving me this tape, which I think he said, I say vividly, and I'm trying to think, I'm sure he said he got it from a friend who, I don't know how this would even have happened in like 1991, but he got it from a friend, 91, 92, he got it from a friend who was like in, did he say something like Germany? Or maybe it's like India. And I was like, how do you know someone in... Obviously, well before the days of the internet. But anyway, basically someone had went in a cinema and had like a camcorder and recorded the movie and then it was distributed to all these people. Ended up with my friend who told everyone about it at school, bragging rights, and then I ended up borrowing it. So I was watching a movie on a copied VHS with basically someone pointing a camcorder at Terminator 2. It looked all right, to be fair, but you could tell it wasn't great quality. But I remember watching it with my friend, and we were like, this is amazing, because it was before it was out in the UK. This is great. And so we felt like really special and privileged to watch it. And that movie, unless I already just mentioned it there, I'm not sure I did, was Terminator 2, and the game, of course, therefore, is obviously Terminator 2 Judgment Day on the SNES. Arnie on the front there, former governor of my gaff, California. So yeah, this is an amazing condition, really mint on pretty much every corner. I'm really pleased with it. But the game, it's a side-scroll... Oh, here we go again. Let's just get it out of the way. A side-scrolling shooter and a platform shooter kind of thing. It's not very good. The graphics are ropey beyond belief. They really are. But I tell you one of the things I really liked about this game. It almost went from me thinking, this is bollocks, to me going, this is all right, actually. It was just one little subtle change. And it's when you pick up the shotgun. Sounds a bit violent. But when you pick the shotgun up, it feels so satisfying when you shoot the enemy. Because obviously, more often than not, it's a one-hit kill. And they go flying off the screen. But it's the noise it makes. It's the impact. It feels good. They've kind of nailed it quite well, I've got to be honest. But that aside, the AI is not very good. It seems as if there's almost like an endless spawn. It's like a loop. So if you stay on the screen, they'll constantly come back and forth. So you've kind of got to constantly move and all that kind of thing. So it's not a very good game. I'm not going to pretend it is. But bizarrely, and we've all got games like this, it's so bad, you quite like it. It's a bit of a poison. It really is. And so I quite like it in a really, really weird way. So that's that. I've got 2 360 games. I've got 1 Xbox One. There's a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 1, and 1 PlayStation 4 game, which I have shown before. It's not even mine, but it's relevant, so I'm going to very, very, very briefly touch upon it. So let's do the 360 games. Now, this one, I think, I could be wrong, but around about 4 or 5 years ago, another YouTuber, which is Adam, 16-Bit Brit, good channel, by the way, I'm sure you're aware of Adam's channel. But I'm sure he did a gameplay video of this. If he didn't, it was obviously someone else, but I think it was him. And that game, I've taken years and years and years to buy, and it is Ghost Recon Future Soldier, so Tom Clancy game, basically. And this is the signature edition. How that differs from like limited edition, standard edition, day one edition, which I've got a day one edition here. I think it's called day one edition. Yeah, but who cares? It's kind of silly, isn't it? They're the same game, and these days they're not really as rare as the next one. So, but yeah, so a Tom Clancy stealth-based game. If you like that kind of thing, such as like a Rainbow Six, or was it Advanced Warfare? No, that was the Call of Duty one, wasn't it? There's Advanced something, whatever. There's a stack of Tom Clancy games, and this is basically in the same mould as that. But I remember watching, I think it was Adam's video, and I really wanted to get it. Spine, grey. I really wanted to get it, and it's just taken me a long, long time to buy it on the 360. I think I might still have it on the PS3, embarrassingly. I've got so many games on the PS3, it's ridiculous. And then last but not least, on the 360 is, if I'm going to pronounce this right, oh my god, how am I going to do this? Let's have a look. Katana? I don't think I've shown this one before, but apologies if I have, that'd be pretty embarrassing. But yeah, one of those, as I regularly say whenever I show these kind of games, bullet hell games, which are very difficult, but despite me being very bad at them, and them being very tricky, I like them. I like going back to them. I think there's something satisfying about mass destruction. You know, when you're on a screen just blowing all these enemies up on at once and seeing all these points kind of flying all across the screen as your like reward. And there's something, yeah, very satisfying about it. So, yeah, really liking these kind of games. I'm not very good at them. I'm not even going to pretend I am. But, yeah, I like them. So, and I'm definitely not a connoisseur of those kind of games. I know some people are devoted on YouTube to shoot 'em up games, shmup games, bullet hell, call it what you will. And I like to watch those kind of vids. But I'm just not very good at them, got to be honest. And then on the Xbox One, this one's still sealed. I'm not going for a sealed collection. Just haven't played it, I haven't had the time. And it's Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Again, Day 1 edition. So how this differs from the original one, I was going to say I'm not entirely sure. I can tell you. This one comes with the Covert Agent pack, the digital OST sampler, an extra in-game mission, and digital books. Big deal. So if you have to pay more for that, you can't really see. And just imagine that if the standard version was like sort of $40, $50, but if you wanted the day one edition, you had to pay like $70. You'd be paying more just for like that, a digital ebook. That is absolute bollocks. So this is why I don't really like these day one editions and stuff. Or if I do, I'll buy them when the prices are way, 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 way down. This was $8, believe it or not. $8! That's about £5 or £6 sealed, brand new with the thing. That's ludicrous. And it, once again, I always say this, it highlights the fact that if you just wait... Now, yeah, all right, not every game is going to come down to $8, but many of them do. And it's just absolutely crazy to think that, you know, maybe you are watching this and you spent $50, $60 on this, or 40, 50, 60 quid, and I've just spent a fiver on it, $8. Mental. Now, I do have it on the 360. I've never finished it, or not yet finished it. I started it, I can't even remember how far I got through it. And I thought it was okay, and I was going to go back to it. That's the funny thing about this. I was going to go back to it quite recently, and I just so happened on a whim to see this was available on eBay, Amazon, tell a lie, for $8. And I thought, well, do you know what? I know it sounds a little bit kind of elitist, but I just thought, well, I'm just going to get this version then, and I'm going to play this first because it's got better graphics. I'm sorry, I'm not really a graphics whore. I'm a little bit. But I thought it's going to have better graphics, it's going to have better, hopefully, AI, a better, more immersion, if you like. And it should just be a better game, because it's come out like 4 or 5 years later. It should be a better experience, in theory. So I'm going to play that version before I play the 360 one. But I will go back to the 360 one eventually. Yeah, again, embarrassingly, it's probably a game I've also got on the PS3. That's another collection, which maybe at the end of the year I'll do, the PS3. I'm too embarrassed to tell you how many games I've got. There's a lot. And this is another one. This is, it's not a cross-platform game. That's the thing as well. With me, with the PS3 and the 360, with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I really do bounce back and forth. I don't really have any loyalty as such. I love them all. I like all the systems. And so it doesn't really bother me that I get a cross-platform game on the PS4 one month and then a cross-platform game on the Xbox One the next. It's just the way it is. Maybe eventually I'll kind of streamline it and I'll prioritise one over the other. Maybe I will, but we'll see. But that game, anyway, on the PS3 is a pretty scary game. And there's a trend with all these three games as well. There's a link. And but that game, anyway, is Dead Space. Dead Space, the first one. So, yeah, I think, isn't there 4? Certainly there's 3 at least in the series. And I don't think there's one on the PS4, the Xbox One. Xbox Wox. What's an Xbox Wox? On the Xbox One. Xbox Wox. That sounds really catchy, actually. I like that. But yeah, I don't think there's one planned, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I did briefly play this on the 360, not the Xbox Wox 360, and it was pretty scary, as are these next 2 games I'm going to show, in places, you know, really tense and atmospheric, and that's what I really like about these games. So looking forward to playing it. But again, it's a little bit like the Deus Ex one, I'm not going to lie. Part of me thought, should I play the first one? Should I just not get the last one, which I think was Dead Space 3, because it's going to be better in theory? And I thought, you know what? I don't think they're going to look too dissimilar. They're probably using the same engine. Yes, there'll be a few tweaks, but really it's going to be the same game. So, yeah, really looking forward to playing this. Has it got trophies? I know it shouldn't matter. I don't think it does. It doesn't say. I can't see. But when games don't have trophies on the PlayStation 3, this is silly. It makes me want to play the 360 version with the achievements, I've just got to be honest. So the PlayStation 1 game that I've got is a Platinum Hits version. I showed this on Twitter, I know I did a few days ago, or a week or 2, whenever it was. And it's Alien Trilogy. I'm not a fan whatsoever of Platinum Hits with this kind of silver spine. Although, weirdly, A, I don't mind it as much as I used to. I think it looks alright. And B, it's just a case of maybe you get that little bit older and you think, who cares? Although a little part of me does still care, so eventually it likely will be replaced with a Black Label version. But for now, I'm not bothered. But even then, in the past, I used to be bothered to the point where I wouldn't have got this. And now it's like, well, I want to play the game, so let's get it. And it was on eBay.com, so in America. So I got it really cheap for just like $4 or $5, and I was happy to do so. Because remember, if I'm importing it from the UK, I'm probably paying, I don't know, what does it go for, like £3, something like that. But then I've probably got to pay anywhere between £5 and £10, if not more, by some chancers on eBay who want, the extra postage. So sometimes it's just better just to wait, get a PAL version in America, or even get the American PlayStation 1 version, which sometimes I do. But I saw this on eBay.com, and I thought, I want to get this. So I did. And it's good. It's atmospheric. Now, the thing I should say about this as well is it came out in 1996, so 21 years ago, but it's still really, really good. I think so anyway. Whether that's nostalgia being largely responsible for my viewpoint, possibly. But I think it's really atmospheric. I will say the one problem I've got with it, off the top of my head that I can think, is that there's no aim, so you can't aim, so it's very difficult. There's no zoom, I should say, so you can't zoom down the sights. So it does make shooting the enemies a slightly hit and miss. The hit detection is a little bit off, but it's a very creepy game, and especially when you get those, what do you call them, like face huggers, kind of running along the floor and stuff, and then they sometimes jump up on the screen. That's pretty scary stuff. And then, I was going to say the last, but it's not quite the last. But the last physical game that I've got on the PlayStation 4 is the one that I've shown before. It's not mine. A friend has lent me this. He probably lent me this about 6 months ago. I lent him Uncharted 4, which he's since completed and given back to me. And I've still got this. And that game is Alien Isolation. I'm still playing it, or, well, since I'm playing it, I intend to play it very soon. I started it. I've got one trophy, which I think I got from opening a box or something after playing it for 10 seconds. So that's all I've done. But the reason why I'm showing this is because obviously connected to Dead Space and Alien Trilogy. Is it Alien Trilogy on the SNES? On the PS1? Yeah. So yeah, it's Alien related. So, and it reminds me I've really got to play this. But it's a bit embarrassing because I lent him, like I say, Uncharted 4. He had it for a few months. He finished it. He really likes it, of course. He did, because it's a great game. And he lent me this. And the other day he said to me, oh, how far are you in Alien Isolation? And I went, I got to that bit where there's the alien. I was just making it up, talking complete bollocks. And he was like, oh yeah, that bit, or whatever. He seemed to know what I was talking about, even though I was making it up. And he's like, it's pretty tense, isn't it? I was like, oh yeah, really. Because I don't want to admit, I've had it for 6 months and played it for 20 seconds. I don't think he'd care, but I just feel paranoid, so I'm just making it up. And so the danger of when you start lying is that you're going to get found out. I hope he doesn't ask me any more questions. So what I want to do is to start playing this game, so if he quizzes me, I'll at least have more of an idea what the game's about. So if you're on my PlayStation friends list, I mean, I don't do a lot of online gaming these days, that's the funny thing. Well, I do a little bit, as I'll touch upon in my next point. But if you see me on your list and I'm playing Alien Isolation, it's not necessarily because I want to, although I kind of do. It's because I feel I have to. Because I don't want to be embarrassed when he asks me questions about it, and I just want to play the bloody game. And that really irritates me. That GameStop, 16, is it 19 or 99? 16.19. What sort of stupid price is that? At least round it off to 99. So that's pretty much everything, apart from one more game, which you can see there. Oh, balls it up. You can see it now before me. There we go. Battlefield 1. You can't quite see it, of course, because of the screen. Battlefield 1 on the PlayStation 4. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I should say, unless I've mentioned before, that I don't have the physical version for it, which is why I'm not holding up a box. I downloaded it. I paid $50, $60 for it. I think the day it came out, and I just downloaded it. So it's a digital download. And I know for some that's blasphemy. For me, I don't have a problem with it, I've got to be honest. Because I don't have to take the disc out of the box, and take it off the shelf, and put it back in, and take it out when I'm finished. It's there on the menu, just press the button, and I'm playing. And for me, I'm playing it a lot, and I'm really liking it. It's a really good game. I mean, forget Call of Duty. It's all about Battlefield these days. Absolutely. But, listen, in the future, will I want a physical copy of Battlefield 1 on the PS4, for example? Yeah, I'm sure I will, and I'm sure I'll get it. But by the time that I buy it, it's probably going to be a few dollars at best. So it doesn't really matter to me that I'm buying the digital version. I don't feel like I'm wasting my money because I'm playing it a lot. Yes, there's no resale value, but I'm not going to be selling it anytime soon because I like it. It's a good game, and I love my PS4, so I'm not going to be selling that. So, win-win for me. And again, maybe this is a topic for another day, but going fully digital, I could just see people right now shaking in your chair with disbelief. But calm down. Honestly, for me personally, I can see a day, whenever that is, where I'm prepared to go fully digital. Calm down. Don't have too much of a, of a fit. I can definitely see that. With retro and all that kind of stuff, well, yeah, obviously not. I like the physical stuff. But modern games, for me, going fully digital is something I can do. It all comes down to price. That's the thing for me. That's the stickler. You know, because I don't want to be, and wouldn't, pay $60 every time for a game. I'd absolutely wait for a discount and a sale. But yeah, I've got to be honest. For me, digital downloads are not a problem. I know it's a bit of a contentious issue, and some just don't like it. Same with DLC for me. If it's done well, if it's done right, if it's value for money, which I guess is, you know, down to interpretation. You may think it is, someone else may think it isn't. It's a very personal thing. But for me personally, digital downloads, DLC, I'm actually all for them if the price is right and if I don't feel like it's been left out of the game and that we're being ripped off. But anyway, I'm just wittering on. So thanks for watching. Until my next vid, which will either be sometime... Well, hang on. Well, it's going to be next week sometime. Maybe Sunday. Sunday or next week. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.